Tired of feeling tired? Done with diet culture? Overwhelmed by conflicting nutrition and fitness messages? Then join us, your hosts of the Nutrition Revolution podcast, as we take a deep dive into all things women's fitness and nutrition. I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Tabitha. And together we are debunking diet culture myths and giving you the tools you need to finally see the results you're looking for. All right, guys, thanks for tuning back in. Something that both Kimberly and I get asked a lot or hear a lot about are like what foods contain protein, what should I be eating, and then what is the difference? Like you hear about complete versus incomplete protein sources. And so complete protein sources are foods that contain all 9 of the essential amino acids. And if you're like, what the heck's that? Or is that essential amino acids? Those are the proteins that your body cannot make, that your body does not synthesize, that you need to get from food. And there's 9 of them. And so any food that contains all 9 will be complete. The foods that do not contain all 9, that maybe contain 4 or 5 or 1 or 2, are going to be called your incomplete protein sources. And your incomplete protein sources are plant foods, pretty much. Yeah, plant foods. You're going to look at like grains like brown rice, wheat, oats, barley, and corn. They're low in lysine, the amino acid lysine. Then you have legumes, which are your beans, your lentils, your peas, and chickpeas. They are protein rich, but they are lacking methionine. Nuts and seeds, so your almonds, sunflower seeds, chia seeds, walnuts, peanuts. They're also good protein sources, but they are low in lysine. And even leafy green vegetables like broccoli and spinach contain very small amounts of protein, but they do add towards your total daily intake. And they're usually lacking methionine and tryptophan. Even like your tubular vegetables, so your potatoes, your sweet potatoes, and other root veggies will have more protein than like other vegetable sources, but they're also low in lysine and a few other amino acids. So yeah, those are going to be your incomplete protein sources.
Yeah, I know when I did because of a lot of my health issues that I was having, I tried a vegan diet for a while and was trying to get in all of the protein that I needed with just plant-based foods.
It's hard. It takes a lot of effort.
It was so
a lot
hard.
of effort and work.
Yeah, it's
doable.
It's doable, but it took so much time in the kitchen piecing together these meals that it just wasn't helpful. And it ended up just kind of falling apart for me because I just couldn't do it. One, I didn't want to eat that much food. And two, like it was just chewing. So much chewing. It just was so much work trying to get those in. But I think the important thing to know is you don't have to eat meat to get a complete protein diet. Like you can do it. It just is a little bit harder and it takes a lot of planning. So if you're gonna do vegan or vegetarian diets, you have to be mindful of, which of the amino acids are in which of the plants so that you are kind of piecing those together in a way that works.
Yeah. And what's the limiting amino acid, meaning the one that they're missing, and then what food do you need to get in your diet to make up for that, to compensate?
Right. Yeah. So I think, you would definitely have to have some sort of a cheat sheet on your fridge, something to help you remember, those. So I think keeping that in your focus is like protein is important, but the amino acids in the protein are important, and having all 9 of those essential proteins are what's going to help your body use that protein properly for nutritional purposes. So
I think I just want to add too that so your body is constantly breaking down and rearranging amino acids. So the old school mentality and another protein myth was that you had to eat all 9 of the essential amino acids at each meal in order for your body to be able to synthesize a complete protein. And what we know now is that there are pools of amino acids in your body, and your body's constantly breaking down, rearranging, shuffling around these amino acids to create the complete protein that it needs for whatever purpose. So as long as you are getting all 9 of those essential amino acids throughout the 24-hour period, your body is going to be able to synthesize a complete protein, break them down, rearrange them, whatever needed to make sure that you're getting the protein.
Yeah.
That's needed. It's not going to be wasted. And it's not like, if you are mainly plant-based and you didn't get all 9 at breakfast, as long as you're getting a decent amount of whatever that limiting protein was. So the one that you're missing, whether that was lysine or methionine or whatever, getting it later in the day, you're going to have it. Your body will be able to access that and make the proteins that it needs, the complete protein that it needs. So,
right. Yeah.
What are some of your favorite complete protein sources?
So I love complete proteins.
Me too.
It's so much easier.
So easy.
It really does. And you don't have to think about it. So, if you are okay eating animals, it's going to be a lot easier because those animal protein sources are complete protein sources.
And animal products. Mm-hmm. Your dairy, your
dairy
eggs.
And eggs. Even soy, a lot of times has enough of those amino acids.
Soy and quinoa and chia seeds are complete protein sources. They do contain all of the essential amino acids.
Right, which is why you see those a lot of times in your like protein shakes or protein quick grab bars. A lot of them are soy or
pea protein or quinoa.
Yes, because those are complete sources.
And there'll be ingredients in a lot of like high protein meals because they give you both fiber and they have those all those amino acids. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So, I am all about some good, animal-based protein products. Steak. We come from a family of hunters, and so they are doing venison and crabbing and, so we kind of try to find some local foods that we can eat. Those kinds of proteins are stocked in our freezer all the time. So
that's awesome. I grew up, my dad is a big outdoorsman. He's actually a charter boat captain now, but he also hunts.
Yeah.
And he goes out west, Idaho. Okay. I think I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure it's Idaho, like every fall for like a big elk hunt.
Yeah.
And anyways, so my point is, growing up, we had like venison and fish all the time, that it was actually really exciting to me when we had chicken.
Right.
Because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm eating what everybody else eats, chicken.
It looks normal like everyone else. My kids are going to be like that.
I'm like, oh man, I'm so fortunate that like I had like wild game, the venison and the fresh fish. And
they're just really awesome. Lean. Like those are good lean sources of protein.
But I think if I came to my family and I showed up to family dinner and was like, oh, I'm not eating animal products anymore, I'd probably be like disowned.
I remember when I was pregnant with my son, the smell of venison was like absolutely not, like I couldn't even let my husband cook it in the house, and he was like, if you don't eat venison like that,
get it together,
my gosh,
Kimberly.
You're gonna need to do this. But now they cook it all, or they eat it all. And so those complete protein sources, it's pretty easy. Just eat some animal
it's easy to fry up some eggs in the morning.
I do tell people to diversify.
Absolutely.
Right? Like you want to, everything's going to have a little bit, something might have more lysine or tryptophan than the other. So getting in some diversity in your protein sources is really important. So my protein powder that I use is a mushroom pea protein powder. And so I'm getting in, a little bit of different types of amino acids from that. And then I also eat a lot of fish and, like I said, venison, and we do eggs. We live and sometimes have chickens depending on if a tornado hit our house. And, it just...
I know whose house I'm coming to when the world ends.
Exactly.
Showing up at Farm Fresh and Active.
Chickens are surviving all these Delaware storms we're getting. So diversifying that protein is going to help you get a better source of all those amino acids and kind of diversify it in your body, so you are picking up more nutrients and digesting them.
And then you don't need to stress that about, oh my gosh, am I getting all 9 of those essential amino acids? Like you are.
Right.
And if you are strict, if you, for like ethical reasons or whatever it might be, if you are strictly going to be vegan where you're not consuming any animal products, so you're going to really need to, like we said earlier, double down on the focus and be intentional. But use complementary proteins, and that
like pairing them the right way.
Pairing your plant foods correctly. So a couple of examples that you can do: rice and beans together give you all of the 9 essential amino acids. Hummus and pita together will give you all 9, and then oats and nuts, nut butters. So like a peanut butter and jelly. My son, that is literally what he packs in his lunch every day for school. We do whole grain bread. I have peanut butter and some jelly, and that together, the peanut butter with the oats and the grains from the whole wheat bread, give him all of the 9 essential amino acids. So you just have to be mindful, and try different ways. So you can do it. It will just take a little more effort and work. But even if you want to be largely plant-based, and you're making like the bulk of your plate plant foods, if you're throwing in those complete protein sources like grilled chicken or shrimp, or having, tuna salad over your veggies, like that's going to give you all that beautiful fiber and vitamins and minerals, as well as those essential amino acids. Yeah.
I think one of our favorite things, my husband every morning does overnight oats. So it's almond milk, the oats, and then I throw in chia seeds. And
add hemp seeds too.
Hemp
a serving of hemp seeds will give you 10 grams of protein.
Yeah. And I personally do a lot of like pumpkin seeds, just to snack on. Those have protein too. So you can get, I feel like people are surprised when we tell them that protein isn't just meat.
Yeah. It's not just chicken.
So you're not just eating 150 grams of
not just chicken and cows,
meat, right? Yeah. You're still getting it from lots of other things. So,
and that's where like too, if you are eating a really diversified diet and you're focusing on whole foods, real foods, you can get easily another like 10 grams of protein from plant foods to go along with your pork, fish, beef, chicken, whatever, so it'll turn like you get a nice good portion of protein, like we talked about in protein episode part 1 about like ordering a double order of protein on your salad, or getting the larger steak or whatever, like also having whole grains, brown rice, beans, all of those things with you will take that meal, just increase the protein and the nutrient content.
Yeah.
Making it easier.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about, I talked about my protein shake, and there's some people who are like, absolutely never supplement protein, like no shakes, no protein bars, no, none of that like quick grab protein source.
But they must live off the grid and be homesteaders, because
they're all hunters and they don't need anything but a steak.
Like I have to have those options available. Yeah. What do you like? How do you navigate that with your clients?
Yeah. So for me, I just am honest with them. I tell them, listen, I wake up at early in the morning. Sometimes my clients start at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh, God
so
bless
I'm
you.
up working on, working out in the gym with them, or, doing whatever I need to do. And then I finish that and I go into my house, and my kids are like up ready for breakfast and they are ready to start school, and I homeschool. And so
Kimberly does it all, ladies and gentlemen.
Tune in. No, I don't always get the opportunity to sit and eat a meal, and I have to have a shake. I also have ADHD. And so I have hyper-focused meals, which we can talk about in a different episode. But sometimes all I want is that one thing, and it's a hyper-focus. And so like for me, it's been this smoothie that I do every day, and I've been doing it for like a long, long time.
Do you put a protein powder in your smoothie?
Yep. So I have protein powder, and sometimes I switch it in and out.
I always, I have like a flavorless whey that I love that like you just don't, it doesn't change the flavor at all.
Yep.
Anyways.
Yeah.
It works.
I tell them like, listen, if you are a busy person, which all moms are, right? Like we're either working moms who are getting our kids to school and then going to our jobs, or, all of us are taking our kids to some sort of an event, whether it's church youth groups or sports or whatever. We are busy. And so you have to be able to find something that is going to help you eat well, no matter what. And if a, protein bar is what you can get in, then get in that protein bar. If a protein shake, protein shake, and protein is important. Like we talked about before, you have to get in protein. So if those are your options, try to do it and have that. But I wouldn't, I have people who are like, I can only eat protein shakes, and they're trying to eat like 3 a day. No, don't do that. You have to have whole foods too. You have to chew some food.
Balance it.
You need to chew some food. Your body needs to chew.
There's a psychological component to satiety, meaning your fullness. So if you take someone and give them just a protein shake or a smoothie that's like liquids and they drink it down, like even if it's the same amount of calories as food that you have to chew, you're going to feel hungrier sooner,
right,
and not as emotionally satisfied with the food when you actually have to chew, and it takes like all the senses that come into play, and the signaling from just the glucose receptors in your mouth that then go to your brain that make you like happy that you're
and they
chewing.
create that bolus of food that actually goes down, and also the thermodynamic effective energy on you
having to digest food.
Having to digest it and taking the time. That's why I always tell people, like, sit down and eat a meal if you can. Now,
absolutely.
Again, we're busy and we don't always get to do that. So I think that protein supplementation has its place. I don't think that it's our first go-to, but I think that it is a very helpful resource, especially if you are moving and you don't have the time to sit and eat a meal. I think the best thing to do is have your difficult meal. So I know, like, breakfast is hard for me to get in because I'm bouncing between work in the morning to teaching. Breakfast is hard for me. So I've, hard-boiled eggs are ready to go. My sausage that I eat is already prepped and ready to go. I just have to heat it up. Those are the meals that I know are hard for me. And then during the day, just running around, the protein shake I can just bring with me and sip as I go and do my thing. So knowing which meal is the hardest for you, have that prepped and ready to go so that you're getting in those whole foods when you can, and then taking that time to really plan out some good whole foods. We cook all of our proteins in the, like on Sundays, I cook a whole bunch of proteins and then I have them packaged and ready to go. So it will be hard.
You're good at meal prepping.
But you got to pre-prep. I only prep my proteins.
Okay. I will do that a lot too. Yeah. We're very similar and aligned there with how we work with our clients on the protein. Same thing. Like, I have quite a few clients that are like teachers, lawyers, like busy moms that they're like, listen, nurses, that are like, listen, I would love to be that person that's going to have 3 eggs and whole grain toast and a grapefruit cut up every morning, but it's not happening Monday through Friday. Yeah. And so they were just going with like a cup of coffee or like collagen in their coffee and calling it good. So same thing, like, the protein shake is a supplement, right? Meaning it's supposed to plug in holes, not in your diet, not be the primary source. So, but for those women that are super busy and on a time crunch in the morning and don't have time to make a meal like that, like, have your protein shake, but I'm like, nutrition by addition. What can we add to this? Like, let's add a banana. Let's add a piece of whole grain toast with nut butter and some berries, or a Greek yogurt with berries. Like, let's add something else to give it a little extra oomph that can also be a quick grab and go. And then do yourself a solid on the weekend. Try to have at least one morning where, like, you do have a substantial, like, whole foods breakfast, and maybe even an entire day where you don't have a shake.
That's good.
Or a supplement. And then prepping is really key too.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you are super busy Monday through Friday because of your work and personal life schedules and you're running kids all over the place, like, if you want to be healthier and eat more real food and make those changes, like, you have to be willing to put some time in through the week at some point to do that prep. And if you're not willing to do that, like, I'm going to be really honest, I will always bring the truth. You're not going to be successful.
Yeah. I'm constantly telling my clients, I would rather you skip your gym for the day and spend it in the kitchen. You have to prep.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. I would rather you take one day a week. I mean, okay, so really, you actually need more than one day a week of rest.
Yeah.
Right. But like, take that day and do some sort of prepping in the kitchen. Hard boil some eggs, make some egg bites, pre-make chicken salad or tuna salad. Like, take care of the protein piece, things that can be quick grab and go. Make like the Kodiak cakes are big hit in our house. Yep. The freezer waffles, but then even the pancake waffle mix, like, I'll make an entire box of it up and then freeze them. Yeah. And they have a gluten-free mix too. And I like the Kodiak cakes. It's like minimal ingredients. Right. And everything I like know how to read. So you can just like grab that and go. Cause there are some mornings where I'll do a protein shake, a banana, and one of those Kodiak cakes with nut butter.
And you're good to go.
And it literally takes me less than 5 minutes.
Yeah. And you're full. And it's faster than waiting in like a fast food line.
Balanced. I'm controlling what's in it. It's not full of tons of sugar like a Starbucks muffin and latte or Dunkin' Donuts, whatever.
Yeah. And if you are like a muffin person, my kids love pancakes. And, with my son and my daughter, they both are very active and do a lot of sports. I have an unflavored protein powder, and I'll throw that into a pancake mix.
Perfect.
And I'll make those pancakes, and then we freeze them, and that's what they're grabbing in the morning.
Yeah.
On that kind of topic of kids and protein, do you let your kids have protein powder?
Yes.
I think one of the big questions I get all the time is,
can my kid have this supplement? Yeah. I try really hard to make 95% of their nutrition is coming from real food.
Right.
And even by that, like real food, I'm talking like Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
We're going to eat chicken
Something
nuggets
quick.
before I'm just going to be like shoving a protein shake down their throats, not because there's anything wrong with it, but because I just really try to foster a eat food mentality and mindset for them. But no, absolutely. We keep protein shakes that are like pre-made, that are in the fridge, that like they both will grab and have on the way to practice or on the way home. If it's a late, like my daughter's soccer training twice a week, she's not even done until 9 o'clock at night, and she's a middle schooler. So she has to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So like on the way home, I will either have a protein shake and a fruit that she wants, or I'll even do like chocolate milk and like half a bagel. So yeah, liquid calories and liquid proteins a great way to get them in some good nutrition.
Yeah. I always try to tell people, don't be afraid to give your kids the protein shakes like that.
Yeah.
It helps, especially if they're doing sports. You know, we have that like, baseball, swim season where we are either eating at 4 o'clock or we're eating at 10 o'clock. Yeah. And so the protein shake is usually like a 4 o'clock on our way to the event. And then we eat like our real food before we go to bed.
See, we're the other way around. I always try to plan it to where like the 4 o'clock will be the dinner.
Yeah.
And then on the way home, we call it like second dinner.
Yeah, second dinner.
Like I've packed snacks, and that'll be like the protein shake. It'll be fresh fruit. It'll be granola bars, like things that they can eat. Or my son loves cereal, but we do like Honey Nut Cheerios, Rice Chex, mini wheats, and he, has milk, and he drinks all the milk with it too. So I'm like, okay, well, at least, a cup of milk,
dairy
8 grams of
is
protein.
a complete protein.
It is a complete protein. So yes, second dinner.
Yeah. The reason I switch it is because for me, I was having these moments where I was waking up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, couldn't sleep, just like wide awake, and I didn't know why. And I started
contemplating
doing
all your life choices.
Right. I'm like, okay, is this God talking to me? Should I be praying for someone? Is this a spiritual thing? What is this? So I started doing all this research on like, what is this? Why do I keep waking up? And before I switched my lifestyle, was very prone to anemia. And so one of the things that I was researching is that protein can help balance your blood sugar. And so it was eat a big protein packed meal before I go to bed. And so I'll eat like a piece of chicken, or just like I will literally stand there and eat some chicken salad or some ground beef from our leftover tacos or whatever. And that's what I have. And then I'll go to bed, and I don't have that wake up. So for me, I'm just ingrained to like eat the bigger portion of protein before bed.
Love that.
It's not for everyone, but that's how it works for me. So I teach my kids that.
Yeah, your kids, especially like boys, adolescent, like boys that are like teenage boys where they've hit puberty, their testosterone actually peaks at night. Men, male testosterone peaks at night, and they are really primed for muscle protein synthesis with a good bolus, like a good 20, 30 grams of protein, like an hour or so before bed, will help them develop more lean mass and recover. I mean, in women, help you recover too, especially if they're training or have games at night. But for boys, that's a really great window to get an extra protein that works with their circadian rhythms and their hormones to stimulate muscle protein synthesis and help them gain more lean mass, which ultimately just ends up meaning that they're healthier the rest of their life. The more muscle that you can acquire as a youth and as a teenager sets that foundation for healthier aging.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Just a little off topic.
Yeah. Tidbit. I mean, I think it's important. I think there's, a lot of women listening to this have kids, and I find that they want to change their lifestyles and things, but they don't want to be the only one doing it. So I think that this information is good because it's going to help them see that whatever you need to change for your body, do it for your kids too.
Absolutely.
Because
they're watching
you
everything.
Want to set them up for success. Yep. They're watching you. They're learning from you. Stop being afraid to tell your kids like, hey, listen, I'm on a journey and this is what I'm learning, and we're going to do it together. And so I think that there's a lot of crucial things that people can be doing with their kids, like teaching them that protein is going to keep them fuller and they don't need to fill up on fruit snacks. It's important to teach your kids those things and, set them up for success so that they are learning along with you. And then they're teaching future generations,
and
how
they're
that
just
works.
Healthier for the rest of their life too. So did we just become a nutrition podcast for moms and kids?
I think so. So
I'm here for it.
Let's do a quick recap, just a little, quick little rapid fire. Is there good protein versus bad protein?
No, there's complete versus incomplete protein. So there's going to be food sources that give you all 9 essential amino acids and food sources that do not. And then there's complementary, combining the incomplete proteins to get all of those essential amino acids, and even combining complete and incomplete just to increase the total amino acid profile content of your meals.
You can be an animal food eater and do well, but you can also be vegan or vegetarian and do well.
Absolutely.
Just take some planning and paying attention. Can anyone eat protein? Yes, everyone needs protein for their bodies. And if you're not sure how much to get, go back to that part 1 and kind of listen to that. And then protein as a supplement. Should we be having these supplemental protein shakes and bars and powders? I think they have their place.
Absolutely. I agree. Yep. Time and place. So I think that wraps up part 2. Until next time, take care.
Bye.
Thanks for spending your time with us. If you found this podcast helpful, we would love for you to share it with your friends and family. And don't forget to subscribe on your podcast platform. If you have nutrition or fitness questions you want answered on future episodes, we would love to hear from you. You can submit these questions to our email, thenutritionrevolutionpodcast@gmail.com, and follow us on Instagram @thenutritionrevolutionpodcast.